Hello everyone, welcome to this week's edition of Telegraph Herald, More Than the Score. I am your host, Steve Ortman. Alongside me this week, coming in on his vacation. What dedication, folks? Tim O'Neill. Tim, how's it going?
I'm not supposed to be here today.
You're right, you're not supposed to be here today, but you, sir, are just too dedicated. You couldn't contain yourself. You wanted to come in here and talk about the big project you had going on this past week. The all-area softball team. Anytime we take on a task like this, all-area teams, takes up a little bit of time, but it's certainly one of our favorite additions to put out, favorite sections to put out. Lots of eyes get on this thing, and we had some great players in the area. But tell us about our players of the year.
Well, we had co-players of the year. A couple of girls from Dyersville Beckman, teammates. Third baseman Amber Bockenstedt, a senior, and pitcher Sydney Steffens, a sophomore. Both just great, outstanding offensive players. They both hit over 450 for the season, drove in more than 50 runs, and were just solid contributors right there in the early part of the Blazers lineup. Bockenstedt hit 8 home runs. Steffen hit 7 home runs this year, so they both had some power, double digits in the double category. Scored a bunch of runs as Beckman won 30 games and got within a single win of its first ever state tournament berth. Caught up with both those players last week, and here's what they had to say.
Sydney, we'll start with you. Just tell me a little bit about the season. What made this season so special for you, considering the numbers you put up and the success that the team had?
Last season we all played together, so only losing one senior, we came back knowing what each other could do. So that helped a lot, and we also had a lot of team chemistry because we've played together before Beckman. So.
Amber, tell me a little bit about that. You're one of the seniors here, so what kind of leadership role did you take on this year? Maybe you had it last year as one of the upperclassmen. Just what kind of leadership role did you take on this team as you guys plotted to try and get to state?
Yeah, I definitely feel like I started stepping into it last season with only one senior, and then this season having 2. I think we definitely both stepped up a lot. We, did our best to help guide the team and use our experience to just try to keep the team together and play well. So.
All right. At what point did you guys know that this was going to be a successful season?
I think even starting last year, we knew we did so well last year, and then only losing one senior, we knew we were going to be good this year, and we definitely competed well.
But then we also put in hard work over the winter, just not to trust our skills, but to improve them and make ourselves better as a team and better for the team.
All right, Amber, it seemed like your numbers spiked a little bit this year.
Yeah.
So what went into that? What went into you putting together the individual season that you had to contribute to that team success?
Definitely, even there were a lot of times I couldn't make team hitting, but just taking a tee and doing my own work. I did a lot of tee work this season. Or this off season, I think that really helped me.
Well, Sydney, you were the definition of a workhorse in the pitching circle this year. Just what was it like going out there every inning, pretty much, for this team and giving it your all in the circle?
Ever since 8th grade, I've always been put in the circle a lot of innings. This season, I think I've put in the most I've put in since my 8th grade year, but it's just the fact that knowing my defense is behind me, knowing that I don't have to throw a lot of pitches every inning. And even the innings I do throw a couple more, it doesn't affect me because of the work we put in the summer.
All right, Amber, next up for you is Clark. Just how do you build on this with the Pride next year?
Yeah, I'm so excited, and even using this as fuel, we fell just short, and even Clark's team fell just short of going to nationals this year. So I'm definitely excited to put in the work with my new team and hopefully do some great things there.
Second consecutive player of the year to go to Clark, I will add.
Oh, really?
Sydney
Tigas, yep.
Yep. Sydney, obviously you've got a couple more years left. Just how do you build on this coming back next year for the Blazers?
I'm going to put a couple more hours in this winter to get better at my pitching, and senior year I'll have my little sister, so hopefully I'll get to play somewhere else on the field other than the mound.
Where would you like to play?
I'd rather play somewhere in the infield, just not on the mound. Shortstop or second base would be okay with me. Somewhere other than the pitcher's mound where I don't get lasers hit at me would be just fine with me.
It's fun.
Well, obviously a great year for the Trailblazers, and Bockenstedt is off to Clark, hoping to make an impact with that program, and Steffen's got a couple years to go yet.
Yep, 2 more seasons with the Blazers, so who knows? A lot of players come back for them, so we'll see what they can do next year.
Well, those 2 girls obviously not the only players to make an impact on the softball field this season. Tell us a little bit about some of the other standout players on the all-area team.
Well, if we just start in the city and move our way out, starting at Dubuque Hempstead, they had a couple of girls on the first team, Alana Cooksley and Morgan Krug, and Cooksley hit 10 home runs for the Mustangs this year. They also made the sub-state final in Class 5A, the regional final, excuse me. So they were right there with just on the cusp of almost making their first state tournament berth. You also have Western Dubuque, an outstanding freshman in Ella Link who set a new program record with 11 home runs this year. Outstanding output for a freshman. Down in Bellevue, you got McKenna Mickles from Bellevue Marquette. She's a junior coming back. You also got East Dubuque, Abigail Huseman, solid pitcher coming back next year. Looking Wisconsin, Southwestern, Allison Cruiser is back there this year. And Iowa Grant had a couple of girls in Miranda McCarthy and Emma Litticoat. So a lot of talent, a lot of girls coming back. I think there's a big majority of the first team players coming back next year. So it should be an exciting year next year as well.
Now, to wrap up the all-area team, we always pick out a coach of the year, and it was definitely a memorable season in Belmont.
Absolutely. Got back to the state tournament for the first time since 2009. Jeff Hodgson was our coach of the year after they went 28-3. They lost their semifinal game up in Madison by 1 run. All 3 of their losses were by just a single run, so they were so close to having a perfect season, getting to the state championship game, and Coach Hodgson said, you know, if they had gotten past their semifinal, he thinks they would have had a really good chance to win the state championship. So they got some players coming back next year. They did lose some really good players, though. They had first teamers in pitcher Sadie Wilborn, who's a sophomore, and then also infielder Maddie Rand and outfielder Paige Nolan, but they are both seniors, so they'll be gone next year.
All right, well, that should put a pretty little bow on the all-area softball team. Coming up this weekend, all-area baseball. And amazingly, I can't believe I'm saying this, but football is almost here.
It's right around the corner. I can smell the pigsty.
You better get back to work and stop being on vacation. We got things going on here, buddy.
I got more vacation to do.
Anyways, all-area baseball coming at you this weekend at the Telegraph Herald print and at telegraphherald.com. Player of the Year Saturday. The whole team will be running Sunday, and the Coach of the Year will be coming up on Monday. But now, we're going to let Tim get back to vacation. So, bye-bye.
Thank you.
That's going to do it for this week's episode of Telegraph Herald. More than the score. I'm your host, Steve Ortman. For Tim O'Neill, we'll see you next week.